16 years in cask, followed by 1 year in glass. But was the wait worth it for this single grain? Hi there, my name's Lewis, and welcome to the Neckpour. This is the whiskey review channel where I give you my thoughts and opinions on a particular bottle of whiskey from the Neckpour all the way down to the Dregs. You join me here today for the Neckpour of a new bottle and one that I've anticipated for quite a while. This is the Removed by the Fun Police from Master of Malt, or you may know it as the Dalry Milk from last year. This is one I did want to pick up last year, and I thought I'll pick that up tomorrow. By the time I'd got round to it, it famously received a little cease and desist, so I wasn't able to. But this is a 16-year-old North British single grain, 100% sherry maturation, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio of Oloroso to Palo Cortado on this. Doesn't explicitly state it, but assuming they're sort of roughly similar size casks, as opposed to some giant hoggies or some giant butts and some little firkins, something like that. But we're assuming they're about the same, so about 66% Oloroso to 33 of the Palo Cortado. And yeah, 16 years sat in the cask, followed by a year sat in the glass. But yeah, before we go any further and waffle on, let's get this poured. I actually did pretty well opening that one, as opposed to my usual humbling experience. And let's have a little listen to the cork. Not too bad at all. Pour ourselves a little drop. Very, very nice. But yeah, this is one I was excited to pick up last year. I'm a little bit of a grain fan, and yeah, was unable to do so. So when it came back this year, and clearly the exact same bottles, got the same age statement as it did last year, all of those things exactly the same, I was pretty excited and interested to see what it was all about. Because those that did get the few bottles that were sold last year seemed to suggest this was really pretty good stuff. I love the artwork on it. I think it's funny. I think it's also funny that they've kind of doubled down on the issues last year, supposed to try and hide away from it and repackaging it in another way. But we're 45.4% on this one, natural colour, non-chill filtered. Although it might not actually be non-chill filtered. Some websites say it is, some websites say it isn't. There's nothing on the bottle, and there's nothing actually directly from Master of Malt themselves. It's just on other websites, they talk about how Master of Malt say they will never chill filter one of their own products. So leave that up to discussion, and maybe after this video, so before I come back for the dregs, I'll chuck a glass in the fridge, see what happens. But yeah, let's get it up to the nose. Maple syrup, oaty flapjacks, melted butter, just a shade of wood shavings there. A little bit prickly, but nothing too bad. But yeah, maple syrup, buttery flapjacks. Hot wood shavings. And just a little pinch of peanuts in the background. Really interesting on the nose. Getting a little tang of the grain, little tang of the wood, little tang of that sherry cask mixture. Very, very interesting there. Very nice, quite inviting. So let's give this a little sip, see what we think. Lovely and warming. slides down. Sherry spices, baking spices, but super creamy, super rich. A little kick from that grain. I always find a slight, not spiciness, not jaggedness, but there's a little edge to a single grain that isn't there on a single malt to me. But yeah, spicy, nutty. Goes from kind of a wood shop on the nose to more of you're just sharpening a single pencil. It's just a slightly different woody smell to me on the palate. Lots of whipped cream. A little bit of that kick from the grain. And then a lovely, it's like a sort of French toast kind of thing with a little bit of cinnamon on it. So like a cinnamon baked good, cinnamon roll, something like that on the palate. And then the finish. Like any good, nicely aged grain that's got enough time in the cask, is long, it's silky, it's like slipping into a warm blanket on a cold day, you know. It just tucks you in, it's rich. I get a bit of bread, a bit of brioche, but a little bit of the smell when it first goes in the oven, so you can still smell the yeast. It's a slightly yeasty bread. I'm getting loads and loads of candied nuts, which for me, that's just what palicotado is. It's nuts, that's what it adds. And also getting just this little hint of raisins, but in chocolate. You can see why they've packaged it like this. It's like fruit and nut on the finish, mixed with that bread, mixed with that cinnamon roll. Absolutely lovely finish. And that's a really, really accomplished whiskey for me. I'm really, really enjoying that. And I also really like the colour. I'll pop in a little bit of footage just here, showing what it looks like up close and personal, so you guys can have a good look at that. And this, of course, is from North British Distillery in Edinburgh. One of the couple of really, really big industrial distilleries pumping out millions upon millions upon millions of litres of grain whiskey, mostly for blends. But when their stuff's well treated, like this clearly is, I think it's absolutely stunning. And I think there's no reason at all that it should be given this second rate sort of treatment. When it is good, it is really excellent. And I really like this. Again, the same with blended Scotch over blended malt. I think if the grain's well integrated, it's good grain, you're absolutely onto a winner. And especially considering the price. This was £36.63 is what I paid for this, which is just crazy money for something that's 16 years old. Imagine the price of a comparable malt to this. And for me, this is also the sweet spot for grain. So 14 to 18 years is what I absolutely love. Much more than that, I start to think the grain is a bit too weak and it becomes too woody. Much younger than that, it can be a bit jagged and a bit rough. But as long as it's been well looked after in good casks, those teenage grains are just a thing of absolute beauty. And this is certainly one of them. I'm pretty sure this is all sold out now. But I think there will be a fair few bottles of this popping up on auction because people will try and cash in on how much last year's went for on auction immediately after it's selling out. So do keep your eyes open, or if you see it somewhere where you can get a pour, because this is an absolute cracker and one I firmly recommend to all of you. But yeah, before I waffle on so much about how much I'm enjoying this, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for joining me here today. It really does mean a lot to me that you take time out of your day to spend a little bit of it with me. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Got any thoughts and opinions on this bottle, any other North British or any other indie grain whiskies, drop them down below, or there's just anything you want to see me review. If you've really enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so you're informed next time I post. It really does mean the world to me. But other than that, until the next time, just like to say thank you again so much for joining me here today. And until then, cheers, Sláinte, and I'll see you again.